Hi you guys, welcome to day 4 of our Yoga for Beginners series. I have one of my favorite people in the world here with me today. This is Bev, and she is going to help us with today's focus, which is opening up the chest and especially the hips. So let's go ahead and get right into it. All we're going to need is blocks, definitely blocks always, and then you may need a yoga strap or belt or tie for one of the things we're going to do with our arms at the end. In this class, we're going to be working up to a deep, deep squat stretch. And I'm going to give options and modifications for anyone who's very stiff in that pose, anyone with pelvic floor issues, so watch for that. We're going to start in mountain pose. So, you guys know how to do this by now. You want to have your feet grounded underneath your pelvis, maybe even a little closer if you have the balance for it. Maybe you can even have your toes a little closer than your heels, if that feels comfortable. Shoulders up and down your back. Palms can face forward toward the front, or they can turn and be turned toward your thighs. You want your shoulders down, away from your ears, the crown of your head lifting to the ceiling. And just take a couple of nice deep breaths and just arrive right here in the room. One more nice deep breath in and out. Slowing down that breathing. Okay. Head up and down a few times. Roll those shoulders up and down a few times. Roll out your wrists a few times. We're going to begin. I know, cracks and pops happen.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're going to begin in cat and cow position on our hands and knees. So come on down to the mat. Bev, you can go ahead and face the door there. And I'll be kind of at an angle here to explain what we are doing. So the first move we're going to do is our basic cat and cow pose. You want your knees, of course, right under your hips, and you want your hands under your shoulders, maybe even a little wider than shoulder width apart. Fingers spread out like starfish. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under, pull your belly button to your spine, and then inhale, come into the cow pose. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, belly button toward your spine, and then inhale, come into cow pose. One more time, we have cat pose. It's like a scared Halloween cat. And then we have cow pose, inhaling. All right, I want to open up our shoulders. So step your right leg forward so that your foot, bring your foot back a tiny bit. Yes, right kind of in line with your knee. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Toes are pointing out to the side. Now, you're going to inhale, lift your right arm up toward the sky. And then exhale, thread the needle. So you can just bring your fingertips toward the floor. Maybe they'll reach, maybe they won't. You can even lift it off the floor if that's comfortable for you. Just see what feels good. And then inhale, arm up toward the sky. And then exhale, belly button to spine and thread the needle. One more time. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, belly button to spine, and feel that twist in your abdominal area. Yeah, onto your hands and knees. And now knee down. And we're going to inhale your right arm out to the side, so straight out to the side. And then exhale, thread the needle all the way through. Now maybe your ear will touch the floor and your shoulder on your right side. Or maybe it won't. Maybe you'll be a little bit more up here, and that's fine. Bev, stay where you are. Mm-hmm. If you comfortable with that?
I'm wondering if this elbow is correct.
You look just right. Bev's shoulder is right on the mat, and her arm is pretty much straight coming out. It looks perfect. Mm-hmm. But now, if you needed it, you could have a block nearby, and you could kind of shuffle it under your head, maybe rest your ear on the block. Mm-hmm. Wherever you are. This is a really great stretch for your back and your shoulder.
Yeah, it feels great.
I love this one. Okay, so we're going to move into the other side. So take a minute to just kind of circle out your hips. I love doing the booty circles on my hands and knees. I'm sorry for the view, Bev.
I just learned how to do that this year from Bree.
Yep. Bev has been doing some movement with me for the last year or so. We've been doing some stretches and some hip circles.
And fun.
It's been good. So let's go ahead and move into the other side. You want to gently engage your core. Lift your left foot up off the ground and position it so that your foot is pretty much in line with your right knee. So not way forward and not way back. It's just out to the side. Now inhale, left arm up. You can tent your fingers. You can also have your hand up on a block if that's better. And exhale, belly button pulls in and thread the needle through. You can have your hand off the ground or on the ground, whatever you prefer. Inhale, left arm up. Opening up the chest. And exhale, belly button to spine. Thread the needle. Inhale, arm up. Exhale, thread the needle. Now knee comes down and we're gonna do the full thread the needle. So inhale, left arm out to the side. And exhale, thread the needle all the way through. Maybe you can come down onto your left ear. Maybe your left shoulder touches the ground. Just kind of ease into it.
And this side's tighter than the other side.
Stay right where you are. That's great to notice that, just to notice those differences. Throughout this series, I've heard people say that, and it's true. Most everybody's a little bit off balance, depending on which side of your body you use more, which side you carry your purse on, that kind of a thing. So take one more deep breath in that position. You look great. And then when you're done, come up onto your hands and knees again.
I want to rotate my wrist after that.
Perfect. Yes, please do. Rotate your wrists. You can even put your hands up in kind of a shark fin above your head. Sometimes that feels good, a prayer position.
And what do you do when your feet start cramping?
That happens to people all the time, doesn't it? This is a great question. I think it's helpful to tuck your toes under, okay? You can try reversing if they're cramping when you're in this position. If you're in this position, then you can just kind of rock on them a little bit. You can try rolling them out. It's hard, but you do whatever you can to kind of move them gently.
That's better, with the toes under.
Yeah, and it's important to know that you need to be hydrating throughout the day to prevent cramps and be getting a good, vitamin and mineral intake. You want plenty of potassium and magnesium, exactly. So, great question. Okay, we're gonna go right into pigeon pose. Actually, it's a modification of pigeon pose. So we will begin on our hands and knees, and you're gonna bring your left knee forward on the left side of the line, and then your right leg is gonna stay on the right side of the line. You're just gonna work your right leg back, your right straight leg back.
And where is the left knee in relation to your hand, to the left hand?
It's right inside of it, just like you are. It's perfect. Your hands can be right there. And you're just essentially sitting on your left calf. So you're sitting on your left calf muscle, right there. Yep, you look perfect. So each leg is in its own lane. Now, you stay right where you are, Bev. I'm gonna just show some modifications. If you at home are saying, I can't do this, then I have some help for you. So first thing is you can put your hands up on blocks that if it's feeling a little bit hard to be all the way down toward the floor.
Or if the wrist or it's feeling tight.
Then I would put my hand in fists instead, so you can try that. Okay, and then the other thing is you can, we can keep those there actually, because we have extra blocks. You can have a block under your bum, like between your, yes, there we go. Just kind of pad things up. So this block right here is actually between her lower calf and the back of her thigh. So you can do that also with a blanket. A folded up blanket might be more comfortable. Just play with props as much as you can.
And so if somebody had lower back problem, that would probably alleviate
yes,
tension.
Absolutely. That's a great point right there. It would alleviate the tension there, and also if you had knee joint pain, that would help too. So the idea here is that we're trying to keep our hips square facing forward as much as possible.
Okay.
So facing this way. And your knee straight forward. There we go, that's even better.
Mm-hmm.
And we're working this leg to keep it on the right side of the line, which you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep our shoulders square as well. Yeah, how does that feel?
Feels okay.
Does it feel all right?
Yeah, I'm not used to thinking that way, but
Yeah.
yeah.
An interesting variation of pigeon, which we'll be going into more of later. So, take one more deep breath. And then we're going to switch sides. So carefully bring the right knee forward. Now the right knee is bent. You're sitting on your right calf. And your left knee or left leg is walking back. Keep your right leg on the right side of the line and your left leg on the left side of the line. You might need to look back behind you and make sure that your leg isn't going off to the side.
It was.
You can be up on your tented fingers, or you can have blocks underneath your hands.
Mm-hmm.
You could potentially see how it feels if it's not too much on your knees to have your elbows on blocks as well.
And elbows down, you would have them also.
Yeah, that could absolutely work. It really depends on your flexibility level. That looks beautiful though.
Mm-hmm.
We want the pelvis to be level.
Uh-huh.
So maybe in this position, since you're down so far,
Uh-huh.
you could even, like what's happening is the left side of your pelvis is a little bit lower.
So the left.
Yep, so you could pad up that area with a block or try it on the second height maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So try a different height like that.
Okay, so just turning it.
Yep,
gives
just
it
turning
more
the block.
elevation.
Exactly.
Oh.
So we first put the block on this height under her hip, and then I turned it up to the second height. Okay? It's really such a personal thing, this beginner's yoga journey. Everyone's body is going to be different. So
It's experimenting.
exactly. And it's
lot.
that's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Kind
think
of
so.
fun. I think so too. Let me remove the block for you.
Mhm.
We are going to come out of this pose and we are going to move up into a wide-legged squat position in standing. So come on up, however you can get there. Shake out your legs.
Thank you.
Shake out your arms. Let it all go. That was a, kind of a challenging pose, that first one. We're really diving right into it today. So you did great. Let's begin with a wide-legged squat. So feet nice and wide, toes pointing out.
Out.
Yep. And we're going to come into a squat position. This time you can stick your bum out behind you a bit. Now turn your palms so your fingers are pointing down toward the ground.
Uh-huh.
And you are going to lower your left shoulder and look to your right as you exhale.
Wow,
Yes.
that neck really needed that stretch.
Doesn't it feel so good?
Ooh.
Pressing those knees outward. Now inhale, come back to the middle, look forward, and then belly to spine. Exhale, twist the other way.
Oh, nice.
Inhale, look forward. Exhale, twist. Belly button to spine. Inhale forward. And exhale.
That feels so good.
I love it. I could do this all day.
Even my arms, even my upper arms.
One more time each side. Yeah. Last time here. Okay, come back to the middle. We're going to move into a wide-legged side lunge. So, yes, you've got it. You're just going to press outward against that left inner thigh so that your knee doesn't fall in. You look perfect. Go ahead and lift those toes up toward the ceiling. You feel that nice.
And when you feel like you're about to fall over, then what do you do?
then you come out of it and put your hands on the ground.
Okay.
Good point. It's very important to have a wall behind you or something nearby for balance and support in case you need it.
And so with this, is the back straight?
You want to have your back straight because if it's rounding, you're not going to feel it as much.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
true.
when you
Okay.
straighten it out, it's a big difference. Great question.
I can feel the difference.
Yeah.
Yes, much more inner thigh stretch with a straight back.
Yes, a big difference. So go ahead and come back to the middle, Bev, and round it up. Now, those of you at home, you can take a mini rest with Bev while I show the full version, and then I show another option we can do. This is what we are moving toward. So really opening at this knee, and then this leg is really straight and you're really down low. Now, I'm not expecting anyone to be there today unless they have a practice of yoga already and want to try really getting down into this. So we're gonna do one more round of the stretching. That's gonna get a little bit deeper, but not that deep, unless you are at that level. So we can have these blocks out wide, nice wide. So put your feet wide again, Bev. And put your hands on the blocks, and you may need to adjust them a little bit for your comfort.
Okay.
But you're gonna do the same thing that we started with. So you're gonna bring your toes, bend your left knee, and bring your right toes up. Your hands are now on blocks, so you're a little bit lower.
Yeah, that's
Keep your spine straight.
Up.
Yeah.
Spine straight. Okay.
And then shift over to the other side.
Oh, so much easier with the blocks.
It's easier. Okay, good.
At
Yeah.
this phase, yeah.
Do you want to try putting your hands on the ground?
I'd like to try putting the blocks this way first.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Tenting your fingers or flat. Your bum is up toward the sky.
Oh, yeah.
Spine is straight. Keep breathing. And now this next shift back and forth, keep this foot on the ground, both feet flat on the ground.
Okay.
Changes the stretch.
It does.
So reaching that outer knife edge of the foot toward the ground. Reach it toward the ground. Ooh, big difference. Now what we're working up to in this class is a very, very deep squat. So we need these hip openers.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, sitting all day doesn't get it.
No, no, walk your feet in. Anyone who has a job who sits all day will find these stretches to be difficult. Bev and I always like to talk together about motion is lotion. And when you move your body, it keeps your joints supple and it keeps them fluidly moving and, you know, ultimately not as painful.
And people think I am younger than I am because I can move.
Yes, exactly. Let's be sure we're shaking out. Really let it go. Really let it go. Couple hip circles. Excellent. Go the other way. Okay, we're gonna do warrior 2 and moving into extended side angle pose. Warrior 2, as we've discussed, you have your left foot, is my left foot here, the front foot, on the line, and the back foot is bisecting the line. Back edge of the foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. Lifted through the front, lengthened through the back, and sink into your front bent knee. You want the bent knee facing forward and not falling in. You want the arch lifted on the front foot. Press into the outer edge of the back foot.
Boof. You know, just pressing that back edge makes all the difference.
All the difference. Isn't it amazing? Yeah. Well, it opens up your hips.
Right.
And it really, it provides an intention down toward the floor where you're lengthening away from that. Yeah. So lifted and then lengthened and then sink into it. Look over your front middle finger. Maybe lift your back arm a couple inches. Mine tends to be low usually unless I lift it. And then we are going to go right into extended side angle. So bend your left arm, place it on your thigh, and then right hand can be on your hip, opening up through the heart. You'll have to kind of cat spine your low back. So pull your belly button to your spine a little bit more.
I keep forgetting to do that.
I know.
I'm glad you said that.
It's so easy to forget. And then lean back just a little bit. Head and heart lean back just a little bit more.
Interesting.
It makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Subtle, but, but distinct.
Keeping that knee kind of pressing into your inner thigh so your knee does not fall in.
It keeps the balance too.
Yeah. Good. One more deep breath in this
I'm
position.
sweating.
I know. It's amazing how hard this can be. So then stay for one more breath if you can. This is a bind where you reach under without sticking your bum way back. Totally optional, but if you want to, you can do that at home. Okay.
I'm not there yet.
No. Come on out. So we're going to go into pigeon. Hands down on the ground. Bring that right knee onto the floor. And then you're going to have to make some room, so maybe pull in your low tummy and lean back just a little bit at your hips so that you can walk your left heel in this way. So your foot is going this way toward the edge of the mat, and you're moving into a pigeon pose. This is what we're going for right here. So I'm going to see how Bev is looking.
Hello.
Bev is amazing with pigeon pose. This is a very easy pose for her. So you look great. What we want to do is work toward having this foot, if it's comfortable for you, moving it forward a little bit. And if
Well, then my question is about my rump wants to go down to the floor.
So then in that case, you could put a block under
the block. Yeah,
your rump.
Okay.
And move that foot.
Now I can do that.
Beautiful. Now I can't do that. So I'm going to show some modifications while Bev eases into this. You can also go onto your elbows if you'd like.
Yeah,
So
for me it's some strain on the wrist, so I'm more comfortable down.
you can do that.
And it's a nice stretch.
You can even put it on.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, there you go. So some options, if this is completely looking impossible for you right now. One option is a very basic option. So you put the left leg then up and cross the right leg and thread the needle. So this is an option. I'm going to show you another view. Cross and thread the needle.
And my physical therapist showed me that to reduce lower back tension.
Yep, it's a wonderful exercise for opening up the hips. It's great for the low back. So that's one option. Or you can, again, go ahead and if you're trying the pigeon pose and need cushioning, then you're going to put the block or even two blocks under this leg, the bent leg side hip. Put it under there until you get to a point where maybe you're even all the way up here and I don't have the blocks to show, but I'd be padded up with blocks on this side, my left side, under my hip, and I'd be high, but that's okay. I'm still working this leg back toward the back of the room. So let's go ahead and come out of pigeon pose, and we're going to go into downward facing dog. So tuck the back toes under, and you're going to walk that left leg back. Wide hands and fingers. Lift belly button to spine. Lift one knee and then the other, and shoot your sit bones up toward the ceiling. Your knees can be bent. And we're gonna walk our feet forward as we breathe, exhaling, knees bent, round it up, roll out the shoulders, into warrior two on the other side. So now right toes are out. Right toes are on the line. Left foot bisects the line. Foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. Warrior two, we bend that front knee. Press into the outer edge and the outer back heel on the back foot. Always have a wall nearby for support. Tuck the tailbone under, lift the front, lengthen the back.
Tuck that tailbone.
We don't want to be like this tucked, but we definitely don't want to be really, arched at your low back. That's not good for your back or your posture. So we want to be gently, engaged, lifted through the pelvic floor. That's why this is so great for not only opening your hips and stretching, but strengthening the pelvic floor and the whole core.
Not to mention inner thigh.
And inner thighs, exactly. So straighten that back leg, press through the outer back heel, arms wide, warrior beautiful, and look over your front hand, and go ahead and inhale, and exhale, and then go ahead and inhale, and exhale down into extended side angle pose. So your hand can be up toward the sky or on your waist, and you're really, again, pressing into that front knee in the inner area, the inner thigh area, so that you make sure that the knee doesn't fall inward. You want to cat spine your low back, so pull your belly button to spine, and then lean gently. Lean your head and your heart back just a little bit. So it's like your head and heart are trying to be right above that line that's below you on the yoga mat. What's going to want to happen is this.
Right.
But we don't want that. We want to be open. Beautiful. Stay where you are, Beth. Stay right there. We're going to take one more breath. It looks really nice. Pressing down through the outer edge of that foot. Really good. From here, we're gonna go down into pigeon pose. So we're gonna bring our hands down toward the ground. We're gonna bring the left knee now down onto the mat. So we're kind of in a low lunge position. And you might need to shift back a little bit to walk your right foot in toward the inner part of the mat and then come into pigeon pose. You got it. You're doing it just right.
Go walk it
This
way.
Yeah, walking it to the left. I know, and
It's a little awkward.
it's a little awkward. You're gonna need blocks nearby. You can put the block now under your right sitting bone, so the side of the leg that's bent. One side might absolutely be tighter than the other side.
I think that's the case here.
Can I help you with this a little bit more?
I think I might need one more.
I think so too. How about
on the other side?
The other thing you can do is combine a block and a blanket. Let's try that instead of two blocks.
Right.
So a block and a blanket. So front knee is bent. There is an angle. The shin does not have to be parallel to the top of the yoga mat. That's for very advanced yogis.
Good to know. Thank God.
Yeah, to protect if your knee has any pain at all, then you're gonna want to come out of this position and you're gonna want to do, are you fine there, Bev, for a minute?
I'm fine.
If you have any pain in your knee at all, you're gonna wanna come into the alternative position right here. So the one leg crossed over the other and then lift is to thread the needle on your back. So this is the alternative position. Bev, are you still good there? Okay. So what I'm gonna do is continue to show, so Bev is padded up under her hip so that her pelvis is level and square facing forward. Her shoulders are square facing forward. This back leg is walking back, shooting toward the back of the room. Looks beautiful. Where you should feel this is right there at the front of the hip. And then also on the outside of that right bent leg.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now just know that you can always go down onto your elbows if that's better for you and more comfortable. And you can also have blocks under your forearms if you'd like to try that. And on your own, you can stay in these positions for, as long as you'd like. You can stay for 5 minutes if you want to, but we won't do quite that much today.
How long does it take the muscle to relax?
Yeah, it's going to take to really get your muscles to completely just unwind. It's going to take at least 45 seconds, if not 60 seconds, if not longer, to really ease and sink into the stretch. You never want to bounce jarringly into the stretches, but a little tiny bit of gentle movement can be helpful, especially when it's combined with your breath. Go ahead and ease out of it, Bev. We're going to go back into the downward facing dog. So what you're going to do is I'll remove your blocks from under your hips. You're going to come onto your knee, tuck your back toes under. There you go. And engage your core, lift your pelvic floor. You've got it. Bending the knees is just fine. And we want to, come on up.
Forward.
That's perfect. Come on up to stand. Beautiful. Shake out your arms, shake out your legs. Okay, so now we're going to move into what we've been working up to, Malasana. Now, I'm going to show it. I happen to know that Bev can do this pose just fine. She needs a little help, but this is what we're working toward. Now, it's not just a sinking or a dumping into the position. It's a lifting out of the floor, lengthening your crown of your head toward the ceiling. That's going to help protect your pelvic floor. If you dump into it, it's going to actually put your pelvic floor and your pelvis in a position that downward pressure could really cause some damage. So we don't want this dumping of your spine to happen. We want to lift. So let's get into it. What we will do is we can come carefully down. If we had a chair nearby, that would probably be better, but I know Bev can handle coming into this position. You can also start from your knees and hands. Tuck your toes under. Make sure your feet are wide. If they're too narrow, it's going to be hard on your balance. So make sure your feet are wide. And you can kind of rock back onto your heels. Good. Maybe walk out your feet a little bit so they're a little bit wider. Good. Your toes point slightly out, heels slightly in. And see about sitting back onto your flat feet.
My heels don't want to go down all the way.
Perfect. So what we will do is we will pad you up with some blocks.
Oh, yay.
There you go.
Now,
there you go. That's perfect. So now our idea is we want to try to lift our arches off the ground. Your arches of your foot. Yep, lift them a little bit. There you go.
And this
Lengthen
does
your spine.
improve flat feet.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Arches can improve with
They
this.
can absolutely. And then this is so great for spine health. So again, Bev's spine is nice and long. She's lifting her heart is kind of what we want to think of. And lifting through the crown of her head. Looks beautiful.
And
yeah.
This helps me keep my knees
Your
apart
knees back.
better.
I like that. Because it is easy for the knees to fall in this stretch, and that is not good for you. So I wanted, if you're comfortable staying there for one moment, I want to share, if you have prolapse and this position feels too opening for your pelvic floor, then you can shift forward onto your hands. Walk your hands out in front of you and shift forward a little bit onto your balls of your feet or your tiptoes. That might feel a little more comfortable. You're still getting a great ankle and hip stretch and back stretch. It feels really good, but it's not quite so opening. So speaking of the pelvic floor, let's go ahead. If you do not have pelvic pain or tension, then join us in this Kegel exercise. So in your deep squat, you're going to be lifting out of your spine, and you're going to engage your pelvic floor. So do a Kegel, squeeze and lift your pelvic floor like you're pulling a marble into your body, okay? And then now fully release the pelvic floor muscles. Got it? Yeah. Very good. Let's do it one more time, but this time hold it. So again, this is not for you if you have pelvic pain or tension, but otherwise, go for it. So squeeze and lift the inside pelvic floor muscles. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and then release all the way. Good. Now again, you could have been doing that in this position if you felt like that was too opening for your pelvic floor to be up, okay? So go ahead and come down onto your knees, release the squat position, remove the blocks out from under you, and we're gonna go into a butterfly stretch. Now we have done a lot of opening of the hip area, but this is a really great stretch to do. You can have your feet out in front of you, fairly wide. You can also bring them in a little closer if you have the flexibility. So play with foot position. You can also be up on the edge of a folded blanket or even a yoga block if you're a little bit tight through the hips. Let's actually try that first. Yes. Let's try walking your hips from side to side and pulling the bottom cheeks back toward the back of the room.
Pull the cheeks
Pull
back.
the cheeks
and
back.
I have to sit up straight with my cheeks pulled back.
And
But before I couldn't.
Yeah, sometimes that can be kind of the magical trick to make this happen, because otherwise, if your bum is underneath you and you're rounding at your spine, you're not going to get anything out of this stretch. You really need to be sitting up.
So we're trying to stack our vertebrae on top.
You
right?
got it. Yep. We're trying to stack our vertebrae and lengthen our spine. Lengthen through the crown of your head. Hold on possibly to your inner ankle area. There you go. Lift as you inhale. And then exhale, lean forward just a little bit, keeping your spine long.
And you know, this is, I feel the stretch in my lats and the side muscles of my back here.
Yeah, all of your low back muscles, really. Now, one thing that is really amazing about these types of spine lengthening exercises is that they help you bring energy up through your spine. Now, those of us who sit a lot of the day, we tend to sit kind of like this. Over time, we're at our computers, everything comes in and down. Or driving, absolutely. But when you lengthen the spine and lift and start bringing that energy up, it makes your brain clearer, it makes you have more energy.
Well, oxygenation.
Yeah, absolutely. Oxygen is flowing because your blood is flowing better. It's a wonderful thing. It can even help with your complexion.
Absolutely.
So lengthen that spine. And last time forward here, always inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. And then we're gonna come up to a seated position. All right, so go ahead and wiggle out your legs. And then we're gonna sit up We're almost done. We're going to cross our legs and do one more opener. So we've been opening the hips. Now we want to open our heart one more time. So legs are crossed. You're in a nice easy pose position.
I have to pull my buttocks out.
Pull your buttocks out of the way underneath you. Pull it back. And I'm going to show you this from behind. And then Bev is actually going to show you an alternative that does not require a strap. I'm going to show from behind. What you're going to do is bring your right arm up overhead. Both of us. So you as well. Bring your right arm up overhead. Both of us are going to bend at the elbow. I'm going to have a strap though. So bend at the right elbow. Bev is just showing how you can hold on with your left arm and open your heart. So sit up nice and tall. Be sure that this doesn't happen. Lift it through the heart. Now I'm going to bring my left hand, thumb pointing down, and I'm going to reach and grab the strap and then lift nice and tall. It's like I'm pulling my hands apart from each other.
And I'm focusing on my elbows and shoulders being back.
Yep. So both of us actually are focusing on elbows and shoulders being back and pressing the back of our heads into our forearm, this right forearm. One more breath in and out. And then go ahead and release. Roll out the shoulders. And let's do the same thing on the other side. So maybe shake out your head, yes and no. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing with the left side up. So your left arm up overhead, bend at your elbow, hold on, or have the strap. Left arm up, bend at the elbow, right arm, thumb points down, grab the strap, and open up. Think about pulling your hands away from each other, opening the heart, lifting the spine, and pressing your head back into your forearm behind you. One more deep breath. And release the hands. Roll out your shoulders.
That's nice.
Look your head up and down. And one more time, up and down. Legs out in front of you. Roll them out, rock them out, shake them out. And our final resting pose is going to be a Supta Baddha Konasana, so a reclined butterfly supported on blocks, and it's going to feel so good.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so let's have you, Beth, actually just turn around so that you're facing the wall. And what we're going to do is place the blocks in this position right here. So they're kind of like a T. So the blocks are set up so that Bev can recline back with her head resting on this top block and the other block that's sideways underneath her thoracic spine, so her mid-back spine, and then the head rests on the top block. Is that comfortable?
Oh, I love it.
Yes. So for some people, this top block will need to be on the third height. For other people, they'll want to have it on the second height, one height down. You want to just open up, just like you're doing. We'll maybe make it so that your feet are close touching, just butterfly feet, palms of your feet touching. How does that feel?
That feels amazing. It's like a solid unit.
Yes. And if you have blocks that you can put under your knees, that can be a really nice way to just ease into this relaxation pose. Have this be your final resting pose. Your Shavasana will be in this pose. So find a way to make this happen. You are not going to regret it. This shape happening is going to be so restful for you, at least it is for me, and I can tell Bev is enjoying it as well. I'd like for you to ease into this. Again, make yourself comfortable with blankets, padding the blocks if you need to. Maybe put a blanket over you. And take some deep breaths. Now this is a nice alternative with legs straight. If you're not liking the butterfly position, you can absolutely have your legs straight out in front of you. It's all about comfort.
It's bliss.
It is. I'm going to ask that you find your position and you stay in it, and you remember to come back for our next video in this series, Yoga for Beginners, which is going to be another great one, working on our balance. So take this rest right now, take the opportunity, and we will see you next time. Until then, remember, eat clean, move every day, and you will shine brighter. Namaste.